Morning, happy Friday, and welcome back to the NOFO Live podcast, where I, Sunita, and my co-host Tracy, we go on live every Friday to talk about all things North Fork. Sorry, everything feels off today because usually we go live at 9, but today we changed times to do it at 10 a.m. So I'm like, is it morning? Is it Friday? What's going on? It's funny how something so tiny can change your whole day. Anyway, the reason we changed time is because it's the last day of school for Tilly. So Mama Tracy had to go in and take some pictures. And if you've been following our journey, you know we are literally watching Tilly grow up in front of our eyes. And it's way too fast. Anyway, our guest today is an author, Jennifer O'Brien, and she has written a book based on the North Fork. Good morning, Tracy. How are you?
I am good. What a sweet, sad, but wonderful morning.
I'm feeling emotional, so I can only imagine how you feel.
Yeah, I mean, it was honestly, what I was surprised about? All the normal feelings that you would think about your child growing up, but I really am going to miss her teachers at her school. And I have seen her grow so much over this year and coming home throughout the year and singing songs I never knew she even knew. And her vocabulary has just increased so much. And she's got so many little friends and she talks about them. And it's just, I'm really going to miss that school and the teachers that she had there and the experience that she had there. So
Good morning, Jen. It
surprised by that.
definitely
Good morning.
takes a special kind of person to shape and mold and nurture and hold space, really, for these
Yes.
little human beings as they're developing. I think
And so
it's
many
beautiful
little
to
ones
watch.
at once. I can't even imagine.
A lot of patience, a lot of patience. Well,
Yes.
like I said, you share, so much about your life on Instagram for those who follow. And I literally feel like every time I blink, Tilly has reached another milestone. And now I know you talked about how a yellow school bus she's going to go in next year.
She said
Or
she doesn't
this.
want to take it, but I feel like she'll change her
I
mind.
mean, my kids are now in their 20s, but I still remember the day, and they'd been to a Montessori before, so it wasn't the first day of school for them. But I remember this yellow school bus coming like over a hill, you could see, and I just started
Oh
bawling, and
yeah,
I couldn't understand
I
why.
will start bawling the second she gets on that bus. Yes, I will.
Oh my goodness. We could talk about Tilly all
I
day,
know. Well,
but
speaking of how I share my life on Instagram, that is actually how we know our author.
I
we
see.
we have been following each other's journey for many years, Jen.
Yeah, maybe close
Yeah.
to 10.
Yeah, we have really been following each other for a long time. We kind of met through the home decor community, really. But we've both been really enjoying connecting behind the scenes, through messages and stuff on each other's personal journey. And I'm so excited to have you on today,
Thank
Jen.
you so much, Sunita and Tracy, for having me today. I know it's been, trying to get our schedules together, but it's so nice to be here. Thank you.
Well, it's good to finally have you. I mean, usually we book a guest, we have them, it's done. But I feel like with you, there's been a whole bunch of
I know.
rescheduling. So we're extra excited finally to have this
Yes.
conversation today. All right, let's dive in. Tracy knows a lot about you, but let's tell everybody who you are and what you do.
Sure. So I've been a home design blogger at City Farmhouse for about 15 years. And there I've shared like a lot of DIYs and decorating advice. And over the last probably 6 years, I was getting an itch to kind of push this in a different direction. So then I started writing, and it was kind of a passion project behind the scenes. But I knew with every story that I wrote, I really wanted to infuse my love of home and design and my aesthetic into everything. So yeah, it's been a fun journey. And my first book published in April, The Summer I Found You, which is set in Southold in the North Fork. And yeah, it's been a whirlwind, but so fun to to see my own story arc through the last 15 years of having small kids, Tracy, and trying to manage. This started as a blog just to connect with other like home enthusiasts. It wasn't anything more than that. I was home with my kids. And I just needed an outlet, someplace to, share the projects. We bought a house and I didn't have much money to fix it up. So it was a lot of like decorating on a dime. So yeah, it's been a fun journey to kind of
Yeah,
see it
I
coming
think,
here.
Jen, that's how I found you. I remember I started following you because of your backyard transformation.
Yes.
And anyone, you have to go check out her Instagram and like scroll. I'm sure you've shared stuff recently too, just kind of since it's summertime. But what an amazing job Jen did on her backyard on a dime,
Yeah.
DIY, and really made it like an oasis.
Yeah.
Well,
I
Jen, as you're
know.
describing, I feel like there's so many parallels between yours and Tracy's journey because Tracy, you too, I mean, this account that you are using, the Miss Tracy Kessler, used to be NOFO Town and Country, which
Correct.
sounds so similar to the city farmhouse
Yeah.
and different circumstances, but similar stories in that she
Very
was
similar.
trying to renovate her house and her life and, from inside out kind
Yep.
of.
Yep.
It sounds like that. So I can see why the two of you sort of connected and had so much in common.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
A
and
lot,
just
lot
to
of fun.
throw it way out there, I know, Tracy, you're not maybe ready to scream from the rooftops, but I know you too have been feeling the itch to write a book about your life. And I think you've dropped hints here and there. So this is such a beautiful friendship for the two of you.
Yes. And
Yes.
I'm here for any questions. I've been
Yes,
through it
I
all.
will. I will have a lot, Jen, when I'm ready. But
So
Yeah.
how did you, I mean, I'm biased. I'm biased towards Southold because that's where I'm based out of. So how did you find Southold and how did that become central to your story?
Yeah, so I'm a South Fork girl. I grew up in Bellport, and we've always either gone to Fire Island or Montauk. As a kid, we've spent a few weeks here and there in Montauk over the summers. We had family in Southampton, and we very rarely ventured to the North Fork. But when I met my husband 25 years ago, he was like, "Oh, my parents have a summer bungalow in Southold," and I was like, I was very intrigued because I had spent zero time there. And just from the moment I got there, I was like, this is me. This is where I'm meant to be. There were so many times, and my in-laws still live there. So I really fell in love with it. And I knew, like, through the years of raising my kids and going out there for summers with my in-laws and the extended family, it was just such a special place that I would sit on the beach and watch the sunset and hear, the low waves of the Peconic Bay. And I knew that I wanted to bring it to life. I knew that I wanted my readers or my friends or someone else to experience and live, these moments because they were so special. So that's kind of how it came to be. My husband's parents were out there, and we started spending a lot of time in the summer out there, and I just fell in love with it. I mean, Southold was special also because we got engaged one weekend at the Soundview. So
oh,
yeah, so there were little nuggets here and there of me
and
falling
that's the
harder and
old
harder.
Soundview, right?
Yeah.
I
25 years
love.
ago was the old Soundview. Yeah.
Yes, and it was the old Soundview. So
Well,
this
Yeah.
was
equally
back 20 years
beautiful, the
ago.
same beach
Yes.
though.
The same
Yes.
sunset,
Yeah.
the same beach. So yeah, I just knew I needed to bring it to life. I just knew it was that special. And I still, I'm on the South Fork, but I get to experience the best of both worlds, going out on the North Fork in the summers as well. So
It's
that's
funny
kind of,
because when I first moved here, so many people thought I lived in Southold
yes,
because I was in Southold so much.
yes,
Because I too was just so drawn to the tiny little main street
yeah,
and I got to know all the shopkeepers and I fell in love with the beach. During the pandemic, there's a beach right at the end of my street. During the pandemic, I drove to the Southold Kenny's Beach and
yes, and
the Caves
Founders.
Beach.
Yeah,
Yeah, every day. It was like a perfect way to get out of my house and I didn't even see another soul, but it was like I somehow felt connected to all my friends who are out there.
yeah, yeah. It really does. It makes you slow down a little bit more too. I
Yeah.
think you're in the moment a little bit more when you're out there. I can't explain it, but if you know,
Yeah.
you know,
Well,
right?
yeah, I mean, I'm grateful and lucky that I get to live it every day.
I
So yes,
I
know.
it
mean,
is a
yeah.
beautiful way to slow down and just savor the moment,
Yeah.
especially at sunset. I mean, I would say all day, on
Yes.
beautiful days when it stops raining today, between zipping to the farmer's market or just driving past a farm. I feel like that just makes me happy. Seeing
Yes.
potato, and now I can recognize some leaves of, oh, this is corn, this is potato, this
Yeah.
which is great.
Yeah.
Okay, so what does your writing journey look like? I know you said you started to feel the itch. Like, did you have an idea of what you were going to write about, or did you know you wanted to write and then the idea came? What does it look like?
So I got the itch many years ago, probably like 12 years ago, when my kids were, my youngest was little. And I said to my husband, I'm going to write a book someday. And even I didn't believe. And he's like, okay. Because when I do put my mind to something, I usually do it. But it, you know, who knows how long it's going to take. And it was probably like 6 or 7 years ago. It was the big fixer-upper craze where a lot of bloggers were buying fixer-uppers, and then
Well, shout out to Joanna and Chip. I mean,
yes,
they got a
exactly.
lot.
Yes, and they made it look very easy in 1 hour. They took
Yeah.
it, you know, from fixer to fabulous. And
But
so,
Fabulous, like, and made it look easy. She
yeah,
just
made it look
everything
easy.
look like, oh, you could do it. It's
And
so
made it look affordable.
Yes,
Let's remember
yes.
where we live.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so I kept thinking, how can we make this happen? My husband was working in the city at the time, so we knew we couldn't move full time to Southold or the North Fork. And so we'd look at these little bungalows, because we thought, oh, we could do like a summer house or like a summer thing and then rent it when we're not here. And then we just started doing the numbers, and we were like, I don't think so, because my husband's not handy and I'm more of the cosmetics. And as much as I wanted at the time to follow this path, because I will admit everybody else was doing it, and I thought, okay, it's extra content. You know, my house is kind of decorated. But it was on a drive home from an open house that we saw. And, you know how those drives home when it, like, the sun is setting, it was just picture perfect. And I thought, and I got goosebumps when I thought about this, and I thought, I don't think this is meant to be my journey. I'm not supposed to fix up a house. I'm actually supposed to write about one. And I thought it certainly has to be
I just
easier.
got goosebumps too.
It certainly has to be easier than actually buying a fixer-upper and doing it. Although my journey to publication was very, very difficult. And, you know, if I do share insight with someone else, I could probably shave off a few years for sure. But it was meant to happen that way. But yeah, that's how it came to be. Was I really wanted a fixer-upper, and I wanted, to be able to spend more time in Southold. And then it just clicked, in my brain that, I do not have to, follow, march to everybody else's beat. I can make my own.
So you traded a hammer for a pen,
Yes.
basically.
Uh-huh.
Okay. And so now you have this idea,
Yes.
you're ready, you've got the pen. So from the time you had the thought to the time that you had the actual physical book in your hand to launch, how long was that?
6 years.
Wow.
6 years.
Ooh, and you kept going. Because I can only imagine it looks like a stock market.
It does. Oh, it was like so close, and then that, and then so close. And I wrote a first book that set on the South Shore, and that was my first book. I got an agent. We got close. We went to acquisitions, and it was supposed to be like a two book deal, but it fell through. And of course, I was heartbroken. And, I cried 1,000 tears, and I thought, I'm not going to give up on this. I'm not ready to give up on this. And so I started working on book 2, and I really was very thoughtful and methodical. And at that point, I had learned so much about structure, during those first 3 years. And I learned so much about, the craft. And that was a lot of, the rejections that you do get from literary agents is, you've definitely got something here. Don't give up, keep honing your craft. And that's what I did. I just kept going. And I knew with the second book, which is this one, I knew that there was something there. And it didn't actually take me that long to write it. I would say about 4 months. But then you go back, you let it sit, and then you go back, and then you look over it again, and you tighten it here and there. But then I had gotten my second agent, and she sold it probably within 6 weeks to 𝗟𝗩𝗘. And 𝗟𝗩𝗘 was on my radar, and it's just so interesting. They were on my radar. I loved the covers for all of their books. I loved the authors, that they took on. So yeah, it was kind of, I think meant to be at that time, with 𝗟𝗩𝗘 instead of. early on.
When you're writing a book and you take it to acquisition and it gets turned down, so is that book like living in a drawer somewhere in your?
Yeah. Yeah,
Wow.
it is. It is. And then I hear a lot of times that, you know, a debut will put the first book in a drawer, then they'll write the second. Then if the second, you know, is a hit or somewhat of a hit, you'll go back into that drawer and take it out or work on something else. So
Yeah.
yeah, and I still, you know, I'm actually reworking that first book. It really probably could have been 3 different books. So I'm working on that right now just because I just love the story and I love the characters. And then I have book 3, you know, on my radar. I've started that as well, which takes place on Shelter Island. So
Ooh.
yeah, definitely Long Island, Eastern Long Island is where I'm meant to write right now, I think. So
Okay, let's talk about this, the summer I found you.
yeah.
Without giving it away,
Yeah.
what is the book about?
Okay, so I like to say it's a Nancy Meyers meets HGTV second chance beach romance with a down on her luck art curator, an unruly rescue, a handy hunk of a reality star neighbor, where houses feel like characters, interiors come to life, and secrets have secrets.
Ooh.
Ooh,
Yeah,
the last
there's
part
a
is
lot
intriguing.
there.
The last part is intriguing.
You know, you mentioned Fire Island. I am going for a month and I need to bring your book because that
Yeah.
sounds exactly like what I want to sit on the beach and read.
Yeah, it really is the quintessential beach read. It is.
I love
It's
it.
got it
Sounds
all.
great.
And if you have been to Long Island and you love Long Island, or even if you know, it has very East Coast vibes, even if it's Nantucket or Cape Cod or Martha's Vineyard, it just has those vibes, those small town coastal vibes. So
if you're reading it and you know Southold, will you recognize restaurants and will
yeah.
we
Some
know?
Yeah, some of the names are fictional. I tried to, if anything was painted in a really good light, I tried to keep it authentic. But if there was even any nugget of like somebody cheated or there was you know, I tried to kind of flip flop the names. Something if there was even any negative connotation,
Yeah.
I just made up names. So that's kind of how I worked it. There are a few mentioned, but I would say most of it's fictional. Most of the Yeah, there's a restaurant in there that I made up on Shelter Island called the Hive, and it's painted yellow, of course.
Well,
And it
that
has
sounds
a
like a
farm.
nice name for a
Yeah,
restaurant, by
I
the
It
way.
know,
does.
farm to table. If somebody wants it, they can have it. Yeah, so it's a farm to table restaurant. So I thought that was a pretty, different name. But yeah, most of them is fictional. But you will recognize, I think, if you know Southold and you know the North Fork, you will get pulled in, and
Okay.
it will feel familiar for sure.
Okay, I think
So
I like the idea
from
of pulling up a chair at the Southold Beach and reading it there. I mean, how
yeah.
cool does that sound?
Yes, and the house is fictional, but I will tell you, Tracy and Sunita, if you have ever walked down Founders, like all the way,
Yep.
past those houses, on
Where the
the other,
shipyard, where the boatyard is.
yes, but it's before that.
Okay.
It's on the flip side, it would go down that private road
Okay.
on the other
Yep.
side. So the house actually came to me first because there were so many walks at the end of the night. Let's go look for shells or let's go. And I would look at these houses and I would say, what is their story? Because some of them are over 100 years old.
Yeah.
And I would just imagine, okay, what is the story there? Like what happened like 50 years ago, 100 years ago? And I found this one house and I was like, yeah, that needs to be the setting for sure. And it's not exact, but it's pretty
But I
close.
love how you made the house a character of
Yeah.
one of the characters in the book. So,
Yes.
you know.
Yeah, and that's what I want. I wanted my design background to infuse into it. And I also wanted it to feel like if you love Nancy Meyers and the aesthetic that, that she brings, like you were walking into, maybe like a Nancy Meyers meets HGTV meets Hallmark movie. I wanted
Yeah.
it to feel like
Yes.
an escape without leaving your house.
So is the title almost a double entendre in the sense that it's the summer I found you, meaning the house, and the summer I found you, maybe a romantic partner?
Yes, and there's a few other elements to that too.
Okay.
The
Good.
secret
And
of secrets. Yeah.
when did the title come along?
Oh my God, that was my question. I was
Right.
thinking about like
So
how what are there other versions? Like how do you settle on a title?
honestly, I had so much faith in my publisher, and it was originally supposed to be House in Bloom because there is a garden,
Okay.
and there are secrets buried in this garden, and so House in Bloom felt very apropos for this house that has like also a character arc. But then when we wanted to make it more summer vibes and feeling, which it is, my publisher threw out a few, alternative names, and I just loved it, and I trusted, and I loved it, and I loved that it meant finding. There's so many meanings to the summer I found you. There's so many parts to that, and I love that part too. So it was a yes. It was a yes for me, and I'm so glad that I didn't go with my other title, and then I went with this. It just feels, it's like the essence of summer in this book.
What about the process of getting edits back? Are there parts that you wrote that you were like, I don't want to cut that out, and someone made you cut it out, or how does that work?
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty. There were some parts towards the end that we took out or condensed, I should say. But I had a great editor. Her name is 𝗪𝗪𝗃, and I trusted her. I knew when I started this journey of publication that I wanted to be traditionally published, just because I have worn so many hats as a business owner myself over 15 years, and I wanted a little hand holding because this was all new. Like I've been doing design since my early 20s, but this was all new. And so I went into it trusting, and there was never a reason for me not to. So I completely trusted my editor, and we worked together so well. And yeah, I mean, there were parts that were definitely taken out. There were parts that were added, but it was just fluid. Her edits and suggestions just made sense. So,
and your writing process, I mean, did you go to writing workshops and stuff, or did you just go like, I'm just going to start writing and we'll go from there?
So I did. At first I said, I'm just going to start writing. My dad had passed away, and I said, this is the time. I had dabbled a little bit before with the idea, and then I said, I'm just going to do it. And it was over COVID, and I wrote and I wrote and I wrote. And then through like talking to different other authors, I was like, oh, okay, there's books on structure. Okay, there's classes. And so it's a process. It's like, then you follow this person, and then you hear about this class and that class. So I would say I went into it blind, and that probably shaved years off of the process, but I wouldn't change a thing, honestly. And then I found the books, the structure books. Save the Cat is the best one. Emotional Thesaurus, Can't Live Without It. And then I started taking classes, through different websites. But I will say, I'm going to give a shout out to the Shit No One Tells You About Writing. They have an amazing group of classes, a collection of classes for authors, and they're put out by agents that run the podcast. Cece Lyra, she has done amazing workshops on emotion. So yeah, it was just kind of trickled down from there. As soon as I started listening to their podcast, then I got feedback. The feedback was just coming at me. I had to make notes all the time. But yeah, I got here. I mean, it was definitely a roller coaster, but I got here.
So where can we get the book?
Okay. So you can get the book anywhere. Amazon, you can get it at Barnes and Noble, you can get it at your local indie bookstore. I will say on Long Island, most of the bookstores are carrying it, the Barnes and Nobles, as well as the indie. So Burton's is carrying it, as well as a book place in Riverhead. And yeah, so
is there an audiobook?
Anywhere.
Is there an audiobook version?
Target, Walmart. It is. So it was produced by Spotify, but it's on Audible. And it's narrated by Samantha Brentmore and Owen Grayson, and they did a fantastic job. Samantha is such a rock star. She brought Dahlia to life. If you love audiobooks, you will love it.
I'm one of the people that actually do. I have a book club, and most people in the book club read a physical book. Something about audiobook, I feel like it brings it to life. Like
yes, it does.
Like the characters, the voices, the tone, all. I love audiobooks. So that, So great. I have a question. As somebody who's trying to be a creative or someone who's listening or watching, one of the scariest parts is putting yourself out there,
Yeah.
right? And you said you kept getting feedback. So what was that experience like for you? And were you always comfortable with, okay, I'm just going to put it out there and see what happens? Or does that also take a little bit of a journey?
Yeah, I think that I've always been a creative that put a lot of pressure on myself to get it right. And so it's not with design, I think I was a little bit less willing to take criticism just because I did it for so long. But with writing, it was so new and I knew nothing. And so I soaked up the advice. I really did. But as far as I'm a very sensitive person, and so with every rejection, there were a lot of tears. And there were so many moments that I was like, I can't do this. Like my heart can't take it.
Yeah.
But then, you cry, you let it out. And then I was like, I'm not giving up on this. And I will say that the only reason I'm here is that I didn't give up because there were so many times I wanted to. But if you have a dream and you don't feel like you're quite there and you go back to the drawing board and try to get better as a creative or hone your skills, you will get there. It's just a matter of not giving up on it. So
The process and the journey.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Are you going to be doing any book talks or appearances or signings here in Southold or on the North Fork that we can promote
Yes.
for you?
Yes, it's on my website, but I believe it's July 19th. I'm going to be at the Manitowoc Library. And I
Okay.
think at 6:30, there's going to be a conversation there. I'm doing a few different things at Barnes and Noble before that. But that's the main one that's coming up that's out there is the one at the
I know
Manitowoc.
at launch time you did something with a book place, right? I think, was
Yes,
it at Pellegrini or one of the vineyards? I really
it
wanted to come,
was.
but we couldn't make
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, it was at Pellegrini and it was wonderful. Jocelyn, she really got a wonderful group of people to come and celebrate this book. It was wonderful. Yeah. And
I
Pellegrini.
have to tell you, Jen, that she reached out to me to
Oh,
moderate it,
yes.
but I didn't get the message because it went into my message requests on Instagram,
Yeah,
and
but
Oh,
I
Tracy, neither of us were here that day because I know you were
what
away and I couldn't go
was
to
I
the,
away?
yeah,
Okay, but
you
I was
couldn't have
like,
made
oh
it
my
even if
god,
you
I
got
would
the
have
message.
loved to have done
Yeah,
that.
no, you were
oh,
away because I wanted to go to the event also and we were both busy that day.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
I remember
know.
that we couldn't go.
And you know what? I probably should have reached out to you as well, but I didn't. I just kind of was like, I don't want to step on Jocelyn's toes, but
Oh
like
no,
whatever,
she's lovely. We've had her on the show.
Yes, we
You
love
also
her.
did something at the Soundview. Were you
I
part of the
did.
Nameless, right?
I
Yeah.
did. I
So
did
that's like a
that. And
full
that,
circle moment for you.
oh my gosh, that was amazing. And I did share with Kara that she runs it, Kara, that I started there basically with this idea. I mean, going to the Soundview for my engagement weekend, I just thought this is just such an extraordinary place. And then it kind of like the seeds were always planting, so it kind of started from there. So yeah, it was definitely a full circle moment. And the group that was there was just phenomenal and so supportive. And I will definitely be going to those in the future, the Nameless Authors Saloon. And they are just so wonderful and so inviting, encouraging. So, yeah.
Well, I could talk to you forever. I cannot wait to read the book. I'm going to go to a book place and buy it there at a local indie store, and I will bring it with me to Fire Island, and I will tell
Yes.
everybody what I think about it.
Yes, please.
But let's jump into our NoFo Live 5.
Okay.
So, Jen,
Yes.
focusing on the North Fork, if
Yes.
you were going to take us out for a meal, your choice, breakfast, lunch, or dinner, where would you take us?
Well, there's so many, as you know, there's so many places. And I really thought about this because I was like, I love so many places. But the one place that probably hits me right now, since we were just there, is the Prydwen. We've been going there for our anniversary for probably like 15, 20 years. And we just recently went for lunch and we kind of spent the day on Shelter Island. Usually we spend the night. But the food there, the lunch, the breakfast, the lunch, the view, just the peace.
I just saw a post that their Wednesday night barbecues are back. That is something they used to
I
do.
love that. I know we've
They
been.
just brought that. They just brought
Yeah.
that back for the summer. So it's on my radar for this year. I've never been. I've always heard about it, and I know like groups of people go. So maybe Tracy, that's something we're gonna have to try to achieve this summer.
Let's do a NOFO live on location
Yeah,
and
I mean, I don't know what I can eat at a barbecue, but I'll
Yeah.
eat the salad.
grilled
But
veggies.
Yeah, it's a great place. So that would be definitely my pick for lunch. And there's a little crow that comes and visits. I guess he's part of the ambiance.
oh,
So, yeah, so that would be my pick for,
okay.
for lunch.
Brewery, vineyard, cocktail, mocktail. What would
Oh,
you enjoy and where?
oh, there's so many choices for that as well. Restaurants, but I would say I'm a big vineyard girl. So I would say Rose Hill. That's in.
Oh, of course you picked the one with the best aesthetic. I mean,
I know.
I was waiting to see. I wonder what you'd pick, and I'm like, yep, she's got the
Yeah.
aesthetic down.
Yes, and a lot of the vineyards have different aesthetics, but I will give a shout out to Coteau because there is a mention
Well,
in the book.
hello, same
Yeah.
owners.
Yeah, same thing. Jamesport Vineyards has great pizza. The pizza there is phenomenal. And then Greenport Brewery is great. It's such a family-oriented place. Music, just so down to earth. And there's so many other vineyards. Quarry Creek. I mean, there's so many, you know. But yeah, those would be my top.
I love how each place has its own vibe.
It does.
And its own kind of draw and reason for
Yes.
going.
Yes.
Like the brewery, for example, I have never heard a bad band there. I don't know how they curate the music. The music's always fun there. Maybe it's the vibe, you know,
Yeah.
it's a great place
It
for
does.
music.
It has a great vibe, and it's so family friendly, and I love that.
Yeah.
And dog friendly too, because they have a lot of
Yes,
outside,
dog
outside
friendly.
space.
And most of the places I mentioned, I don't think Jamesport you can bring animals, but every other place you can bring animals, I believe.
Outside, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, sunrise or sunset? What do you catch? And do you have a spot? I mean, maybe Shelter
Yeah.
Island.
I know. I mean, honestly, there's very few times that I've gotten a bad sunset on the North Fork, but you do have to be somewhat located to the sound, right, to get the best views. So of course the sound view. We have family that live on the sound in the summer down like Sound Beach area, and so that is just a beautiful sunset. And I've tried to take it so many times. I mean, it's just gorgeous. So I'd say definitely sunset and any place on the sound.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about farm stands? Where do you like to stop by when you're headed out of town, and what do you like to get?
I don't know. I always gravitate toward 𝗏𝗄𝗄𝗃 because it's right before my in-laws. And I've always gone there for pumpkins because they are the best place to get fall-related pumpkins, anything. And so I just got in the habit of stopping there just because they're just very friendly, and I like that it's a little bit more quiet and off the beaten path. I mean, even though it's on the main road. But I would say 𝗏𝗄𝗃𝗃's definitely a shout.
Great kale and broccoli too. There.
Okay, good. Yeah, I'm usually like a tomato or corn, but that's good to know.
Yeah,
They and they're one of the farms that, I mean, that sells only what they grow, because there's both kinds of farms here. Ones that'll sell local as well as other things, but 𝗏𝗄𝗃's the one. And you're right about the pumpkins. Like the I mean, I didn't even know they were gray pumpkins and all these other colored pumpkins until they put them out, and I was like, wow,
Yeah,
they do.
The selection is just incredible, and then the price is incredible too. It's just I just love them. So that would be my.
Well, we are so excited to read your book about the North Fork. I mean, you've already told us what you love about the North Fork, but tell us why you continue to be a part of the community, even though it's really your in-laws and you aren't there, but why you make such an effort to be a part of the community.
It just feels wholesome. I think that's kind of the word. I mean, when you come from where we are, it's pretty country, but the minute you get on that main road or North Road, you just feel your blood pressure. You both live there, but you feel your blood pressure lower. And we've just gone with the kids, and I feel like it's a way to reconnect without all the noise, because it's just such a down to earth. And I always say, The North Fork and Southold, it's really like going back in time. That's what it feels like to me. And the community, I mean, the little shops, I've had friends that have shops in Southold. I mean, just a wonderful community. I mean, I just can't say enough about it. That is definitely my preferable place that I feel most at home.
Yeah. Well, we've got Stephen and Alyssa who are going to go out and get the book, and I'm going to go out and get the book, and we will put links on.
I'm going to get the audiobook.
Yes,
definitely get the audiobook. Yes. And if you're watching the podcast, whether it's live or later on, and you do go read the book, please message us and let us know what you think, because we'd love to share the feedback with Jen.
Yes, thank you so much. This was so fun.
And Jen, thank you so much for being flexible, because I know we changed your date like 1,000 times.
It's fine. It's totally fine. I am absolutely flexible, and I'm happy to be here. So,
well, please come back when you have your third baby.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Because which already you're working on. We'd love to chat more. Thank you for joining us. I love that it's a summer read, so it's a perfect time that we're chatting about it now. So pick it up, read it for summer. Couple of things coming up this weekend. Saturday is the Pride Parade in Greenport. I believe it's at noon. So hopefully we'll see some of you there cheering on or walking. Sunday, the NOFO Car Club is having their Cars and Coffee. I think it's a once a month thing at 𝗪𝗂𝗍𝗄 Vineyard. So bring your cars if you want to just come check out the cars. It's really a casual gathering for people who love cars to chat about carburetors and spark plugs and I don't know what else, but it's cute. There's sometimes you get to see cute car ones and I go, oh, look, pale blue. I like that one, So something to do. There's so much to do this weekend. And now that summer's here. So we'll keep sharing and posting. Tag us if you want us to reshare. Tag us in the event you're having, Jen. You mentioned something that you're having coming up at the Mattituck Library. So tag us in there. We'll share that.
Sounds good.
Have a great weekend. Oh, Farmers Market tomorrow at Greenport before the parade. I think
at Mitchell Park.
At Mitchell Park. Yeah, that's always a great one. So go support, your local farmers. Have a great weekend, everybody. See you next Friday.
Summer.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, Jen.